up, man? I'm all about the youth. I'm all about the future, man. I worry so much about these young people out here, and especially when I see things like Neon. First of all, Neon, you are not doing any of the things you should be doing at all. You like Neon is the embodiment. I don't know much about Neon and whatnot, but I just know your image is not. It's not thorough. It's not masculine. You know what I mean? And again, the reason why this is an issue is because this has become too much for archetype. You know what I mean? Now, again, I don't think being masculine means that you're super duper aggressive, you're unreasonable, can't nobody talk to you, can't nobody deal with you. That's not what I mean. But this right here, you know how much money Neon makes? Matter of fact, let's ask Google. Let's get Google involved. All right, AI, you're up. Okay, technology. Hey Google. Say, hey Google, how much does Neon make for every stream he does?
Exact earnings are not public, but Neon reportedly signed a $30 million deal with Cash.
God
The
damn.
income also comes from a 70 to 30 split of subscription revenue, which is a common contract for big streamers.
So this dude is pretty much a millionaire. Okay, and so it's a few different things going on here. What you're all right, and actually we're gonna go ahead and start with my comment real quick on this, which is this is where men start to really fail and become the kind of men that women don't respect. You, I'm sorry, young men especially naively think that they're having a positive interaction with a woman when they listen like this and take in their leadership. What you guys have missed is that she is just trained. What she has done is just train him and to base his entire existence off of being what looks cool to a woman and what's appealing to women. And when in all actuality, masculinity and everything that comes with it, it will always be what women want and respect the most. If he is paying for the food, it's not her business what's on the bill or how he handles it. Um, that's the same as your man coming to your hair salon and picking the style for you and giving the hairstylist tips. So I was saying basically that listen, that's the same as again like you give your girl money to get her hair done or she's gonna go get her hair done and you come there and start telling them how to do her hair or telling her how you want her hair to be done. Like listen, it's something different if she's asking you, right? But it's not for one, it's not necessary. That's one other aspect of it. It's not really necessary. All right. It's not necessary for you to do that, right? And this is how modern men think. Like and especially someone who has a neck this skinny. All right. This boy don't got a lick of mass on. I'm trying to tell you, listen, men should never look weak. I'm not saying that you cannot be masculine if you don't got big broad shoulders and a big chest like the six packs. I understand that. I'm not saying that. It's not what I'm saying, man. I don't know why you gotta think like that, but that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, bro, you done got all this money, you have all this time, okay? You should have been put on 20 pounds and changed your damn haircut. Okay. A matter of fact, I know he had a different haircut before, but it's like, bro, you got too much money to not have a look. So anyway, this is not really this nothing bad is really going on here, but it's more so it also shows you this also what goes on between older women and young men. So as a young man, he's not able to even see or really truly understand where he's at in life. I mean, like I think he gets that he's very successful, but he doesn't really understand how the world works. See, he's a young guy. So hey Google, how old is Neon?
Neon was discovered in
No.
1898 by
How old is the streamer Neon?
streamer
God
Neon is 20
damn.
years old.
All right, so basically that's a baby. He's a baby millionaire, right? So this is also how you can have resources, right? You can have resources, but you can't manage them because you don't have the experience. Now, so he has the talent, he has the following, he's on top of the world. But they think again, this happens to all young people, and you can't really help it. You're a young guy. But one of the worst things that can happen to a young guy is for him to run into a beautiful older woman. She has so much game and so much experience. There's nothing you can do to keep up with her. Also, you're still developing yourself, right? But what she just did, and this is another thing that women do. Women will train you for the sake. First of all, women are always invested in what's best for women because they know that what's good for me is good for her, and so on and so forth. So if it's something that other women can benefit from, women will always take opportunity to do it to do with transmission. right? And part of it is also to drive people to basically to get you to spend more money, right? And also, men do not relate. People, reason why men can never understand when women are running the play because men don't realize you don't relate to how she thinks. So therefore, it's just not going to really, it's not going to clock to you. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, it's not clocking to you. You know what I'm saying? Where's it at?
Getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it? You're not getting it.
You know what I mean?
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it? You're not getting it.
All right, go ahead, man.
You're gonna like make a boss move when you're out dinner. You have to make sure that you already pre-put your card down before you go in.
So that was like negative.
So the check never comes. A real boss never sees the check.
So I'm not a boss.
I'm just saying if you want to be one,
But
your check doesn't come.
But you know, to be honest,
Second handle.
you want me to be honest though?
Mm-hmm.
I like getting it and looking at it and making sure they have extra charge me.
That's what an executive assistant is for.
You're right. Nikolai, can you check the check?
He should be looking over the bill.
He's doing.
Good, see? He's checking it.
Grab a snack with 5 gifted.
Making sure you do a good tip. And then you never see the thing. We just say, are you ready to leave, babe? And
See
then,
people who are talented, who can do a whole lot, and they're not doing it. It's because
I already took care of it.
Where am I?
My bad, yo.
And that's gonna turn around. I'm not gonna lie. Can we also get the check, please?
If you're gonna like make a boss move when you're out dinner, you have to make sure that you already pre-put your card down before you go in.
So that was like negative.
So the check never comes. A real boss never sees the check.
So I'm not a boss.
I'm just saying if you want to be one,
But
your
I gotta
check doesn't come.
But like, you know, to be honest,
Second handle.
you want me to be honest though?
Mm-hmm.
I like getting it and looking at it and making sure they have extra charge me.
That's what an executive assistant is for.
You're right.
If he was 40 years old, if Neon was in his 40s, she would not feel that comfortable talking to him like that, telling him how he should handle a bill that she not paying for. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she's speaking to someone's particular style. All right, remember I keep telling y'all, even a loser can change the world if they got a big enough platform. If they have a mic. That's why the airwaves have always been controlled and censored because they understand how sensitive the human mind is. That's why commercials and ads make you go buy things like you. And that's another thing about with the whole media thing with Drake is that yes, you can be programmed, you can be swayed. You think you can't be swayed for some shit? Fam, I just stopped. Listen, just a few years ago, I stopped believing in like all leftist, liberal, Democrat type shit. I just stopped believing in that shit. I just stopped doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like recently, you understand? So, yeah. Like I said, I just stopped doing that, and it took me years to kind of accept. Okay, you know what? Damn. All right, maybe this person has a point. You know, so around like 2021, I definitely I stopped identifying as pro-black. I just stopped all that shit. I just started kind of leaning towards, all right, what actually makes sense. But anyway, that's besides the point. Going back to that interaction. So if that were me, I'm not saying I would have cussed her out and whatnot, but she wouldn't have felt comfortable saying that, and I would have calmly just said, listen, I got it. Thanks. Or I didn't ask you. That's the difference between a young millionaire and a millionaire with experience. Also, he's basically asking her, oh, so if I do this, she's gonna get wet. The reality is this: one thing men can never get caught up in is feeling like, especially if she's not your wife. All right, y'all haven't made that commitment, and y'all don't have children together, and she hasn't put in no time and put in effort with you. Right? You're not supposed to be asking for her advice. Another thing too is, as the older you get, you realize everything has a cost to it. Everything costs. And that's why I love listening to Coach Greg, because I feel empowered and I feel like I have an answer to my problems. Cause like, yo, on my altar, I mean, listen, I'm still open to having a wife and whatnot, but it's a certain way we gotta do it, man. Cause I just can't really see that big of a benefit of, like, once I get my money together, I can't see that big of a benefit of having a wife if I can afford a babysitter, if I can afford to have somebody come clean every 2 weeks, if I can afford to have my laundry picked up. You know what I mean? Because these are all, once a man gets into six figures, he can afford to have all this done. All right, you can afford it. You can do your laundry one time a week, one time a month, and the other time someone else does it. You know what I'm saying? Treat yourself, right? For pretty much for $1,000, you can replace a woman easily. For less than that, Because most people are going to come in your house. Matter of fact, I see this lady in my neighborhood. It says $10 a room. Now I'm assuming she mean like she want to like sweep and vacuum. I'm sure it's more like 20, 25, something like that. You know what I mean? But basically, at most, for her to clean. Let's say clean my house, right? Um, it would be like $150. So for $300 a month, I can get my house cleaned, sweep everything picked up and shit. $300 a month, 300. Okay. Shout out to CGA. If I want to get my meat fixed, let's say I just want to see one girl and she cool and I'm good with seeing her like 4 times a month, maybe 8 times a month, maybe. You know what I'm saying? And I give her a $500. Listen, I just give her $500 in gifts, money, whatever it is, right? Listen, a chick that's cute or that ain't got. Cause most chicks don't got no niggas sending them money or who's going to send them money every month. It's not happening. It's just not. For one, only listen. How many men have the disposable income? Most niggas who are doing that, they're doing it out of stupidity, and they're doing it because they're trying to impress them. But anywho, another thing too, like I said before, this is what goes on between in relationships where there's an older woman and a young man. So going back to what I wanted to say about Neon and his worldview, he hasn't even developed the worldview yet. But that's what goes on. She preys on you and starts to mold you the way that she molds you into being the kind of man who thinks that she molds you into being the kind of man that thinks that he's going to get ahead because he's getting this positive female attention. When the reality is this, she is one woman. That's why I had to realize about opinions, man. Right? Even like when it comes to me rapping and whatnot, right, and my music and shit like that, and me battling, I'm like, yo, those is a few niggas that said that. That's like 5 or 10 niggas that said that. You know what I'm saying? Or 1 or 2, especially if it's just 1 or 2 people. You know what I mean? That's not a lot of people. That doesn't represent the actual consensus. One person can't make a consensus. You understand? And sometimes, depending on how important that person is, we'll live and die on their opinions and their thoughts of us and whatnot. Also, what Neon's experiencing is he's already going down a path of unhappiness. All right? It's another reason why you don't want to ever deal with a girl who has any kind of status. Because again, women in general already have their own agendas, own separate agenda going on. The more that she thinks that she's her own entity or she's her own name or whatever it is or has her own clout, it's just not really helpful to you unless you're a supporting actor type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like you're whoever that dude was who played the dude in Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? You want to be that dude. The dude who's like, the boyfriend of the female superhero. You know what I'm saying? You want to be Wonder Woman's man. You want to be Supergirl's man. And for the most part, that's how modern men think. They see themselves as whoever Supergirl's boyfriend is. All right? And they really be seeing women as sages and they don't realize, like, bro, she don't call no shots, bro. Not over you. All right? Unless that has something to do with her body or her possessions or what she's going to do with her life, she don't control you. She don't tell you what you should do. He doesn't benefit at all by not looking at the check. And not only that, there's not even no logic to it. What she's speaking to is personal style. And this is how a loser can change the world. Now, mind you, this is someone, she's a beautiful white girl. I ain't gonna lie. Iggy Azalea is a beautiful woman. Right? But when people are fuck ups, not that you can't ever give advice or you can't be right and nothing like that, but at the same time, you cannot give someone of this stature this much power. Again, he's 20 years old. He doesn't understand that. Someone around my age, I'm going to address her more like what she is, right? Not only that, you know what I'm saying? Even her body language next to him. If I'm that close to a woman and I'm interacting with them, their face is smiling. I bet any amount of money. If I was side by side with her having a conversation and whatnot, her body language would be completely different. When she next to Neon, let's bring it back.
Nikolai, can you check the check?
He should be looking over the bill.
He's there.
Good, see? He's checking it.
Grab a snack.
You hear that whole tone?
If I get there.
Making sure you do a good tip, and then you never see anything. You just say, "Are you ready to leave, babe?" And then you walk on out there. And she says, "What about the check?" And you say, "I already took care of that."
And that's the turnaround. I'm not gonna lie. Can we also get the check, please?
If you're gonna make a boss move
So I'm not a boss. Again, this dude got way more money and way more of a future than this girl. He's sitting there listening to her. Let me tell you something. Young man, if you're watching this right now, if you're doing very well, people who are doing way less than you and doing, I'm not going to say way worse. If when you're far more successful, it's one thing if they're speaking to you about something that's in their particular field. That's not going to help him in the future. He's already a millionaire. He's beat the game already. He beat the game already. When you're a millionaire, it ain't that many rules, okay? Because the thing is, the kind of girl that's gonna get turned off. Don't get me wrong. There are women who are from high end cities. This is only for super duper high end hoes. All right. And how many guys really even want those kind of women, or can even afford those kind of girls? All right. And with that, it's just like it's not. And again, but one more thing that happens too. It's one thing I hate about social media, right? Women will see this and not say, Iggy Azalea is a beautiful woman and she's famous and she's experienced having money and she probably still can make some decent money, right? Neon is very very rich, right? And he's doing extremely well. This is really a rich folks conversation. Cause like yo, listen, for millionaires, I'm not saying what she's saying makes is nonsense. It's just not her place to say that shit. You know what I mean? But also too, it's like yo, this is also an example of how you can be the dude with money and still not be desirable to the woman, or still be corny. And I'm like, damn, I think Neon not gonna do no real self work, bro. Because one thing about you being 20 years old and being that successful already is that why would you work hard? Like why would you work on your body? Because the thing is that, bro, real talk. Over the last year or so, I went through mad character building. I've been thinking about. I was trying to think back to how I used to think and who I used to be. I'm like, bro, once I get my bag back up, because for the most part, got all my confidence back. You know what I'm saying? Like, my sense of self is back. I'm not as stressed out, as I've been before. You know what I mean? And I'm just getting, becoming way more stable than I was before. But I know I gotten better. But once I get to like pretty much that 100,000, I know that's when I'll be all the way back to like feeling normal, completely normal. You know what I mean? But anywho, but yeah, so he's not going through any of that stuff. He's not going through like having to walk and having to deal with your girl complaining about you not having a car and what you had to go through to get your first car. Listen, I mean, now I was lucky. I got my first car at 21, but I actually had cars before that. My father had got me, but again, losing mindset where I was back then. I had real anxiety, not like Pedro Pascal with the fake anxiety. I had real anxiety, okay, and I just afraid to drive, man. But it was mostly because I didn't want to deal with my father's rules. So I always, again, men don't really be understanding why you don't really stand a chance in getting into relationships in 2025. Like you can get into one, but you're not going to get one where it's efficient, you know what I mean, and y'all have a healthy relationship and it stays that way. Everything is always going to be for a time with most women because again, unless they had a father around and their father is a solid dude and they have a good relationship. Because if they have a good relationship and he's a masculine dude, and hopefully he don't really sip out too hard on her, they she'll have a blueprint for how to be around a man and how to get along with a man. Excuse me. Like one thing about my little sister Suna, like I can talk to her and have a conversation because she know how to listen. All right. We've had maybe one or two back and forths and everything, but for the most part, she always shows a lot of respect when I'm speaking, and I always really, really appreciate that. I really do. Okay, my brother too, because they're both grown now. My brother getting ready to be 20. My little baby, I think she 3. Let me see. That makes her 22 this year. She's turned 22 this year. All right. They both getting so grown up. Oh yeah, they get 2 years apart. Duh. Right. So anywho, yeah, man. So that was old boy. But one last thing. So I know I mentioned that she did Snow Bunny game, right? She went and say this to a white guy. You think that she would say this to a 50-year-old white guy? How he should handle the check? If he's a millionaire, he's up. Especially let's say he's 50 years old with the earning potential of Neon. That's one deal that Neon got, bro. This is a young dude who has a multi-million-dollar deal from the internet. There's more deals for him to get. That boy might fuck around and make a few $100 million in the next few years. He got 30 to $70 million deal. God damn, it's that much money on there? God dog. Gotta get my ass on Twitch or Kick or whatever they doing. You understand? But nah, she wouldn't try that. But okay, so she is used to dealing with men of color. And again, don't ever think that a woman's not trying to put herself in the best position possible, even if she's not telling you that. All right. So being as though she's went down the path of the snow bunny, now she's stuck with brothers and stuck with non-black men because white men don't play that shit, right? But she knows black men don't have the highest self-esteem and they're more likely to listen, all right, and not be disrespectful when you express yourself, right? So that's what I meant by that she used snow bunny game, right? Because black men are more susceptible to being molded, to being groomed, and to being told what to do, and not think anything of it, you know. So there's that. All right, let's see. What else we got, man? Let me see what we got in the title. One second. All right, that was that. Just want to make sure. I wanted to see. Freaking fly up here, man. All right, man. Let's get to. All right, we back, man. All right, so let's check it out real quick.